feeling like I'm academics.
Chat, have y'all seen this? So they ran an article on Business Insider. They said how rich musicians billed American taxpayers for luxury hotels, shopping sprees, and $1 million house or $1 million bonuses. Okay. Now, this article is actually exposing two people that we care about, really three. It's Lil Wayne, they're exposing Chris Brown, and Marshmello. Okay. Now, let's read through this article really quickly. It says many musicians struggled during the pandemic. Lil Wayne wasn't one of them. He sold his master recordings from his record label's artists for more than $100 million. Okay. By the way, if you don't know what that means, he owned the master recordings 49%. So Young Money, Cash Money, he owned 49% of that. Birdman owed 51% of that. So he sold the masters, right, for $100 million. He was also pardoned for felony gun possession in the last-minute action by then-President Donald Trump. Purchased a $15.4 million mansion in the mountains of Los Angeles, and as Business Insider investigation found, he received an $8.9 million grant from a little-known pandemic relief program that was used to cover more than 2 years' worth of spending on luxury hotel stays, designer clothes, and travel to and from nightclub appearances around the country. The rapper, whose real name is Dwayne Carter Jr., spent more than $1.3 million from the grant on private jets, over $460,000 on clothes and accessories, many of them from high-end brands like Gucci and Balenciaga. He billed taxpayers more than $175,000 for expenses related to a music festival promoting his marijuana brand, GKUA, including clothing for artists associated with his record label. He also used grant money to cover nearly $15,000 worth of flights and luxury hotels for women whose connection to Lil Wayne's touring operation was unclear, including a waitress at a Hooters-type restaurant and a porn actress. On New Year's Eve 2021, he was scheduled to perform at a concert in Coachella, but shortly before his set was scheduled to start, a concert employee announced that the rapper was unable to perform because of the wind in the flights. The crowd booed. The wind gusts were of 20 to 30 miles per hour reported that night, but data from Flight Radar 24 indicates 4 other private jets flew the exact routes Lil Wayne was scheduled to fly. Instead, posts on Instagram suggest he partied that night at a club on Sunset Boulevard with the rapper 2 Chainz. Okay, for expenses related to the concert he never performed, Lil Wayne billed taxpayers nearly $88,000. Okay, now this is how they're saying he spent his grant money. They said he settled a debt that was owed to an ex-manager, Cortez Bryant, $2.14 million. Now, that debt is probably either for direct managing fees or fees due for Drake. Remember, Cortez Bryant, through a subsidiary or his, music group, Aspire Music Group, that's how Drake got signed to Young Money, Cash Money. Okay, so Cortez Bryant, you've noticed we've never heard from him again. Pockets fat. Feel me? So he paid $2.14 million to Cortez Bryant, commissions to then manager Mac Main. Oh my God. Jesus, Mac Main was getting it. Okay. $1.7 million. Wow. Private jets. This is kind of crazy. $1.38 million. Lawyers at Grubman Shire, which, by the way, I think this probably came out because of an inquiry, either at Grubman Shire or an inquiry by this accountant firm that had to show the line items on how this grant money was spent, because for everybody they have the same lawyer group and they have the same accountant. Okay, so lawyers at Grubman Shire $590, accountants $589, close $528,000, $528,000 that is. Contractors who work on the shows $327,000, selling a debt to a former accountant $300,000, mystery women $14.9 thousand, and everything else $1.3 million. Now, I'm going to tell you what Wayne or people around him would say. They would say that it's an accountant issue and that if they did receive a grant, the grant wasn't allocated for what they're saying it is, right? For example, and let me just give you this example. Say I have 15 sources of income, right? Spotify pays me. Universal pays me. I'm getting paid for shows. Everything is my money, right? So, of course, I'm going to fly private jets. But does it mean I'm using the grant money versus the show money? Am I using the money from Spotify or maybe a money from a feature? So I think that's how Wayne would explain it. But, here's the thing. As an artist, your accountant company, right? They and whatever, they have to write down what you did with the grant. So, it kind of defeats the purpose of you trying to explain another way. Lil Wayne's publicist didn't respond to numerous requests for comment on details questions. Reached by text, Wayne made a sexually explicit overture to a reporter and didn't respond to questions. Basically told him to suck his dick, right? Now it says the money came from a program called the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, signed into law by Trump in 2020, championed by lawmakers including Senator Chuck Schumer. It was established as a lifeline for struggling independent venues and arts groups during the pandemic. But pop stars used the program as a piggy bank to keep the party going, according to Business Insider. The Stars spending book took place as a backdrop of massive pandemic relief fraud. The PPP and economic injury disaster loans gave out as much as $200 billion in suspected false claims. Losses that combined with false unemployment benefit claims amount to what the FBI has called the largest fraud in history. Compared with those better known programs, the Shutter Venue Operators Grant had relatively strict eligibility requirements. Still, accounting firms and money managers soon realized their stadium filling musician clients might be able to be eligible for grant money via their loan out companies. I ain't gonna lie, I think that's shitty, man. There's so many people. Like I would have qualified for some of these things, right? Like I had a certain amount of employees for certain size companies. I could have gotten grants. That's shitty, man. Like y'all are fucking millionaires, right? Like y'all got all type of investments. That's really shitty. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? And I've talked to some of these people, not necessarily Wayne or whoever else is being accused in this particular story. You know what they've said? Well, if I didn't do it, other people are doing it. And they escape it. They kind of excuse it by saying other people are doing it. And it's like one of those, if you ever had somebody excuse their behavior by saying, well, somebody was going to do it. Might as well be me. Or other people were doing it too. But I still think it's shitty. Like, you guys make a shit ton of money, had a shit ton of money. You didn't need to use that, even if you consider it free money, whatever. Still account. Okay. Corporate entities used to handle the business of touring. Grants awarded to clients of one of the high-powered entertainment business management firms. Okay, see? NKSFB totaled at least $207 million, Business Insider reported. NKSFB itself collected more than $7 million by helping its clients obtain the grant. Okay, so it was this business management firm that got all of them the money. Their managing partner, Mickey Siegel, didn't respond to requests for comments. The firm's lawyer, Brian Friedman, says NKSFB doesn't comment on his clients' finances. Grants received up to $10 million so they could spend on certain ordinary and necessary expenses for their entertainment business. They had to make good faith statement to the Small Business Administration, which oversaw the program, that the grant was necessary to support the loan out company's ongoing operations and to show that the company's revenue had fallen by at least 25% between one quarter, 2019, and that same quarter, 2020. Oh, wow, this was a scam. The statement of SBA, in the statement, the SBA said it followed the law, but the law directed the SBA to examine revenue, not assets. Musicians with huge bank accounts and multiple mansions were still eligible for the awards as long as their loan out company revenue had declined. Thousands of pages of accounting documents reviewed by Business Insider revealed for the first time how some wealthy musicians were giving it up, including C Breezy and DJ Marshmello and the member of Alice in the Chains. They spent grants they received through the program. The documents include detailed records explain how celebrity musicians spent their grants, as well as correspondence between their accountants and the SBA. Business Insider has verified the authenticity of the documents. They revealed that the artist directed millions, or how the artist directed millions in taxpayer funds, not towards touring crew members, but instead towards their own bank, luxury purchases, and entertainment expenses, oftentimes while sitting on substantial wealth from other business ventures. One top government accountability expert says some of the spending Business Insider identified was questionable, but stopped short of saying it was fraudulent. At minimum, it smells, said David Walker, former comptroller general of the United States. Whether it's legal or not is not up to a lawyer or ultimately up to a court, but it does. Oh, no, whether it's legal or not is up to a lawyer or ultimately a court, but it does smell. The SBA said it implemented industry-leading fraud controls, okay? Let me go down a little bit. Pandemic relief was intended to help businesses and workers in need, the senator says, not a super wealthy celebrity. Lil Wayne wasn't the only one engaged in questionable grant spending. Chris Brown spent his grant on big paycheck. On a big paycheck and a big party. Of the $10 million grant Brown's company CBE Touring received, $5.1 million went to Brown personally. He also billed taxpayer nearly $80,000 for his 33rd birthday party. The blowout, held in a luxe Los Angeles event space, featured a 3,650 LED dance floor and atmosphere models, nude women in body paint who cost $2,100, according to an expense report and a blog post by the party planner. The bill included more than $29,000 for hookahs, bottle service, nitrogen ice cream, and damages involving burn holes to rented couch. While the grant was meant to support live entertainment, Brown also charged $24,000 to the grant for the cost of driving his tour bus from the U.S. to Tulum, Mexico, and back in the fall of 2020 during a month-long stay for him and his entourage in a resort town, where he did not perform. He spent several days in Tulum filming a video with Jack Harlow for the joint track, but it's not clear if the rest of the trip was for business or pleasure. And more than $179,000 of the grant went towards a celebrity basketball tournament broadcast on YouTube, including a $20,000 payment to the Indianapolis Colts tight end Mo Alley Cox, who played for the Browns basketball team. This is how Chris Brown spent his grant. He took $5 million. Insurance, he paid $1.3 million. This is probably an umbrella insurance package. His manager, Anthony Ant Wilson, $823,000. Accountants, $556. Lawyers, $498. Crew payroll, $383. Celebrity basketball tournament, almost $200K. His birthday party, $80,000. Everything else, $1 million. Brown and his attorneys and his managers did not respond to requests for comment. Others also paid themselves, taking advantage of the spending. Oh my God. Marshmello received a 9 point. Oh yeah, this is fraud, chat. It seems like fraud. So the limit was $10 million. I think over 10. They said it over 10 was Let me see, over 10. Or they received up to $10 million. Marshmello got 9.9. Chris Brown got 10. Well, I guess, holy shit. All right. Steve Aoki used 2.4 in grant money. 3 of the members of whatever split. Oh, wow. It's a lot of shit, man. A lot of people.
Here's how rich musicians build American taxpayers for shopping sprees, private jets, and multi-million-dollar paychecks for themselves.
This was the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant Program. The intended recipients of the grant money, arts venues, arts groups, basically organizations that were suffering during pandemic lockdowns.
A lot of those groups did benefit, but artists like Chris Brown, Lil Wayne sent that money mostly to their own pockets.
So out of the $8.9 million that Lil Wayne received, instead of spending the bulk of this money paying people like sound designers, lighting technicians, Lil Wayne spent $1.3 million of that money on private jets. He spent over $460,000 of that money on clothing. $5.3 million went to managers, administrators, accountants, more than 13 times what he paid his touring employees out of the grant. We see people like Chris Brown taking vacations to Tulum with his entourage, partying, and we asked ourselves, did Chris Brown really need $10 million from the federal government? Out of that $10 million, he paid himself $5.1 million. It went straight into his own pocket. For a lot of arts groups, this money was really essential. This was really something that saved them during the pandemic.
There was about $14 billion spent under this program at the end of the day. And what we're focused on is maybe a few $100 million. The median grant under this program was something like $300,000.
Far less than most of the musicians we're talking about. In fact, far less than Lil Wayne spent on clothing alone.
To read the full story, find it on businessinsider.com.
Okay. Now, let's see what else. Okay. Shrem Torrid. Records seen by BI show that a good chunk of the $7.7 million grant to Shrem Torrid, the loan-out company for the hip-hop duo Ray Shremmer, was paid to rappers Slim Jimmy and Sway Lee, whose real names are Akil Brown and Khalif Brown. The duo's manager, lawyer, publicist did not respond to comment. Wow. Everybody was eating. Chat, when it comes to shit like this, man, I'll be scared of the government so much. Don't give me no money, bro. I'm good. I wouldn't want to be playing around with, hold on. Y'all wouldn't want to be playing around with money from the U.S. government like that. Now, granted, I think what's going to happen is that, maybe some of the upper echelon at these management firms, they might be held accountable, but I'm pretty sure their lawyers are going to quote the actual law that was put in place and be like, hey, we did nothing wrong. It might have been scummy. So, yeah, you guys could keep running articles, but you can't charge not our clients nor us. This was legal. This was the law, and we followed the law. So, was it scummy? Probably, but was it illegal? No. Okay? All right. What else? Who else ran up some scams with this? So it looked like they were saying that this business management firm really ran it up. And who else? Over 2.1 million of the grant paid off a debt. Okay, yeah, we went to that. We went into all that. Okay. All right. Good article, but I'm going to be honest with you, okay. Hey, honestly, it just shows, man, in America, man, it's a game it's an unfair game that's played by the rich and the wealthy that usually take advantage of taxpayer dollars. And even when, and I think this is every game in America though, right? Like even when I hear people talk about crypto, like a lot of crypto, at least in my estimation, like it's really just to make these people who have a lot of money even more money. It's going to make them way more money at a higher rate, and they have way more control, and they could affect the market as opposed to you putting in like a little $1,000. You know what I mean? So like there's so much things in America that on paper it looks like it's for people that's underprivileged, but isn't it like how everything is, right? They create legislation, whether it's affirmative action or, was it DEI, which is supposed to help people who would be neglected or, historically, underprivileged groups. And what ends up happening is that the people who benefit from it the most are usually the people that probably don't need it. So it kind of happens a lot. This kind of looks like it sucks. It kind of goes into showing that maybe these guys are scummy people. I don't think that Wayne or Chris Brown himself are making this call, but it goes to show that maybe whatever manager or business manager that they got, probably said, yo, these guys are good candidates that we could kind of finesse a $2 million for our firm. We'll give them their 10, and it's just a scam, which I think that's just the unfortunate part of it, because anytime, and it goes into politics. Anytime the government, I think, does something trying to help people who are underprivileged or people who are, because again, this grant was supposed to help theaters and help small venues and small bands or whatever that were really affected because they couldn't really get to perform or they couldn't have events at their space. So, hey, okay, cool. We want you not to fire people. We want you to still try to maintain until we get through this, because what would happen if everybody just let go of their employees or just blew up their business? It would be catastrophic for the economy to come back. And that was the thought behind it. That was the whole aim of the game. But who benefits the most? Seabreezy and motherfucking Tunji. You get what I'm saying? So again, unfortunately, I don't think you could really ever prevent that, because that's just the nature of how the game is played out here, man. Like the rich really do get richer. And it's really, a lot of times when you support I can't speak today, legislation, or you support things that are aimed at helping certain communities or certain swaths of people, that usually gets taken advantage of the most by people. And I mean, look at the PPP loan thing. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when the PPP loan thing was happening, mad niggas was really up. And it was scammers. Like, these were known scammers. The known scammers were up more than the people that probably needed it. So, kind of fucked up and unfortunate. But I'm not going to blame Chris Brown and Wayne directly. It's clear here that this shit was routed through a business management firm. Did they probably have to sign off on it or okay to it? Of course. But this is a finesse a little bit above their pay grade, even though they definitely did benefit from it, which kind of sucks because you're benefiting from taxpayer dollars, which is supposed to be funneled back in to help underprivileged or struggling and striving businesses. So that kind of sucks. If you look at these guys' net worth too, let's see, Lil Wayne net worth. His net worth is $170 million, right? Chris Brown net worth, his shit is over $100 million. But again, who's going to say no to $10 million, right? Who's going to say no to $10 million, right? Fucked up. Okay. Let me see. I might have to dip out a little bit early, Chad. I do have to run slightly. But what was my other topic?